In this video, I want to give 3 helpful tips that I wish I knew when I was first starting to vlog.
There it is, right there.
The first tip is the most important tip by far. Number 1 is your life is already interesting. You just have to show it. Whether you're a dancer, a doctor, an artist, college student, teacher, whatever it is. People connect with the process and the journey you're in, which is the most important thing. For example, I used to be a college student and I used to think to myself, why would anyone want to see me go to the same places on campus, do the same things? But I realized there's so many things you can do. I was in a pretty fixed mindset about it. You can show the food on campus, what it's like. Maybe you're ranking the dining halls, or you can talk about the dorms and why you like living there, how much it costs, tours. Maybe you do stuff with your friends and you rank all of the different places in your city for people to go to, whatever it is. And the reason why it's so interesting is because people who are in the same journey, or maybe just find it interesting, maybe it's aspiring college students, or maybe people who are 30 years out of college who just want to look at that sort of life, find it interesting. And I didn't really get that in my head until recently. I think another thing too is people feel like they need to be the best when they are showing their life, whether it's like being at a top college in order to be a college vlogger, or being in a super interesting location like London or Paris, or feeling like they need to be crazy finance job making a bunch of money. But in actuality, simply just showing your life and what it is that you're doing is the most important by far. Piggybacking off of that point, while I'm not a musical artist myself, I think something interesting that I would do if I were creating music is to show that journey. So for example, if I were starting off and I was making my first song, instead of just making one song and then disappearing for 2 months and then releasing another song and then disappearing again, I would lean into showing the process of what it's like being an indie artist. Maybe that's the people I collab with, maybe it's how it looks to make music in the studio room. And I think that's just as powerful, if not more powerful, than the actual craft itself. Okay, I found a little bit of a quiet spot. I'm in Harajuku right now, so maybe they'll let me sit down here. I might get kicked out in like 5 minutes, but whatever. Point number 2 is make creating as easy as possible. For me personally, one of the biggest things I struggled with was creating content consistently because of all of the friction and barriers I had when it came to filming. For example, I used to lug around a huge backpack and a huge tripod just when I did my shoots. And those are sort of what I'd call physical barriers, because when I had that backpack, I would get extremely tired. When I had the tripod, I had to set it up and carry around this huge thing, and it would add 20 plus pounds every single time I went out to film. So even before I even try to step out and create something, in my mind I'm thinking, wow, that's gonna be a workout. Like genuinely, it felt the same, except now I'm also trying to create something creatively. So it's like a physical, creative workout, which is not what you want it to feel like. It shouldn't feel like that at all. In fact, right now I have a tripod that probably weighs about 1/10 of the amount that my old tripod used to weigh. And it's also probably like a fraction of the size too, which makes it much easier to carry around. And on most days, like today, all I have is my camera, a mini tripod, and 2 handheld mics, and that's it. If I have to bring a backpack, it's probably not gonna happen, or at least not for a long time. Follow-up point, I think phones are amazing when it comes to creating content because they are light, they are compact, everyone has one in their pocket, and honestly, the quality of phones are amazing nowadays. A lot of times I see creators share about how they film content on their phone nowadays, and it blows my mind because at the point we're at with phones, it really is more than enough. Convenience is better than a fancy setup that you are not going to bring. This is a follow-up to the previous point, but I think bringing your camera everywhere is one of the best things that you can do. I would say 90% of the time, I regret not having my camera versus having it and wishing that I didn't. There's a few times where I think maybe I could have kept it at home, but almost always I think, wow, I wish I could have vlogged my friends versus carrying around some little camera on the side. I think this also sort of ties into a mindset that I've had lately when it comes to vlogging, which is that not every vlog should be a masterpiece by any means. Now, maybe, you know, if you want to take your time with it, that's okay, and maybe you want to make it good. I think 80% of the time, a good vlog doesn't come from a special day. And I think that's something that I've had to unlearn in the past year or so of making videos. When I used to go out to record, every video used to feel like an event. I would have a shot list and all the equipment ready to go. I would make sure that the video was perfect. So this kind of led to perfectionism. And now with a video like this, it ends up being something where it's just a part of my day. So I think that's the main thing. Bring your camera or phone so that vlogging can just be a part of your natural day instead of a separate event. So you can kind of see how a lot of these points are kind of coming together. Hydration break time. Time to get my favorite drink of all, which is this peach drink. Finish your vlog when you're 80% done, which is kind of another way of just sort of saying consistency beats perfectionism. That's kind of the theme and mindset for all of these tips. And the reason why I like this one so much is because it speaks really personally to me. A lot of times when we do something, we want to make sure it looks good so that our friends like it and family like it. And of course we like it, but we are our harshest critics, right? So when we do something, we want to make sure it looks amazing. The thing is, we don't realize that when we're doing something, what feels 80% done to us might look 100% done and looks amazing to your friends and family. And I think it's, at least for me, it feels like a muscle that I've had to sort of just chip away at over the past year or two. Because a lot of times when I'm editing or filming or doing things, I've noticed lately that I film less takes, I edit less. Sometimes when I'm creating a thumbnail, I oftentimes will see something that looks a little bit off, but I still end up uploading the thumbnail anyways. So I think for me nowadays, I think the easiest thing is to simply just upload when I feel like it's 80% done. I think if anything too, it almost becomes like a little bit of a game to see how far I can push this muscle. Spending that time would leak into other areas of filming and editing, and I end up just leaving it 80% of the way to kind of show myself that it's not something that needs to really be perfect. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Take care. Bye-bye.